Hello, party people! Oh no, I haven't updated Jamie's camera.
Oh no! Where am I?
There he is.
I'm here. There we are. Look, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh dear. Welcome to the stream, everybody. It's Trains Thursday. Yeah, let's go with Trains Thursday. Every day is a train day. Yes. How is everybody? How are you, Jamie?
I'm good. How are you?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Yeah. 24 hours to be.
24 hours. Yeah, absolutely. It's been, 23-ish.
Ish. Yeah.
Yes. So yesterday was Workshop Wednesday. That was just amazing. Really good fun. And tonight, what are we looking at tonight?
We are looking at Main Spessart Bahn. Spessart Bahn?
Main Spessart Bahn.
Spessart Bahn. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'm still getting the amateur.
So the we had another Preserve Collection go live today. Preserve Collection 3, I think this is.
It is,
and this delivers Main Spessart Bahn. It delivers the Rapid Transit and the BR1824 Rapid Transit. All good fun. The other thing it does, where's my kitty is? They're right here. Of course they are.
There we are. That's better.
My brain's not working now. The ears have completely thrown me. Oh yes, the other thing that you get as a result of Main Spessart Bahn coming out, if I risk doing strange things and clicking buttons on menus, is on the Schnellfahrstrecke Köln. If you go into service mode, you'll now notice you have 110 services instead of 60 some odd, which means that you've now got access to freight services and passenger services on additional passenger services using a regional Bahn, Regional Express. I think actually they run. I think the Dostos and the 146s run RE1, and then you've got freight services, and the 143 kind of does everything badly because it's a 143. But it's awesome. So yeah, you've got RE1 services in addition now running, and you've got the freight services running as well. When the Rhein-Ruhr-Osten comes out, which I believe is in Preserve 4, then that will add S-Bahn services and more freight services using the container wagons. So there's go back and have another look at your Köln-Aachen line. There is more to look at on there than there was yesterday. Meanwhile, we're playing some Main Spessart Bahn tonight. So, I thought that we would have a look at a Dosto first, and we would run a westbound passenger service. What do you think, Jamie?
Sounds good to me.
Gmunden, Aschaffenburg, all stops. Except for the ones I miss. Anyone having issues with Rapid Transit or anything else as a result of the upgrade? Then, if it's that you can't get the content, i.e., it's saying that you need to buy it, don't buy it. Going to raise a support ticket. And if it's that something is not working, go onto the forums and have a look there and see if anybody else has got it. Raise a request for information there, and someone will help you. And if you don't really get any response from there, then you can raise a support ticket afterwards. But someone will be on you on the forums. This is where we're going to find out about no audio. Why would I have audio, Jamie? Why would there be audio?
I
mean, the machine
know.
was only being used yesterday. Why would it still be working? I mean, come on. Right, hang on a second.
It's too complicated. It's too complicated.
Let me just switch it over to the pause scene for just a minute, and we will restart the game, having told Windows where my audio devices are. Oh my word.
Oh dear.
I pretend to be shocked and dismayed, but honestly, at this point... No, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. It actually doesn't even think I have audio devices. So,
wow.
Windows... GG. 1 second, folks. I'm going to give this machine a reboot. And it'll be back in just a minute. Shall we play Watch the Machine Reboot? I can't see chat now, so if you've got anything amazingly witty that you want to say, then you'll need to say it to Jamie.
Yeah,
and Jamie can chuckle at the way that you're all insulting me.
Someone said you're slowly becoming Sam. There we go. He's happened again.
There's nothing slow. I mean, I'm even growing the beard. Look.
Someone said, "Can we have some elevator music?"
No, you can have trains crashing around.
Yeah.
There we go. It doesn't take long. Right, let me just flip back on that one.
There we go.
Yeah. Of course, when I reboot my machine, my keyboard stops working. I have to unplug it in and replug it in. Because, you know...
Really?
Why would that work sensibly? Right. Nearly there, folks. Let me quickly jump a browser window up so that I can see all of the hateful things that you're all saying about me.
I'm very well, MLHST. I'm very well, thank you. I'm just having a few technical problems, and we'll be back in a minute.
It wouldn't be a stream without a technical problem.
No, it wouldn't. No.
Right, let's see if I've got audio devices now. Yes, and it's even pointed to the right one.
There we go. We're getting there.
Can one use Hauptstrecke Rheinrohr S-Bahn on Köln-Aachen when Rheinrohr-Osten comes out? Let me just try and unpack what you're asking there. When Rheinrohr-Osten comes out, it will add the S-Bahn services, but at the moment only the BR422 from Rheinrohr-Osten can use them. So no, Hauptstrecke Rheinrohr will not help you at all on Köln-Aachen.
Hi, Nathaniel.
Well, I thought today's stream was going to be beyond a disaster because about an hour before the stream, Steam decided, by the way, update time.
Oh, no.
And then it did nothing for about half an hour, except, you know, my hard drive light was on solid. Hey, we've got audio.
There we go. We're getting there. Oh, we're here.
Right, Main Spessart Bahn, explore, timetable. Let's put a bit of cloud in just to make the clouds a little more lively. Cab car, and we are doing the 738. Oh, that's a nice. I like that shot.
That is lovely. Yeah, that was one we picked. That was gorgeous.
Right, driver westbound, stop in service. Put it in forwards, take the key, put some brakes on, and then we can move that over to the left and we can lock the doors.
There we go.
There we go indeed. Right, now let's turn the magic buttons on. We've got headlights, we've got CIFA, main battery, let's not mess with that one today. PZB. We have all the buttons that matter.
There we go.
I am going to get out and sit back down again so that we don't have any problems. The infamous Q test. We are in Gemünden.
Look at that. There is something about double-decker trains, aren't there?
Ah, double-decker trains are great. Bullitt had the right idea for double-decker trains, though. Personally.
He did. Funnily enough, all the world has copied him, but yet we're ourselves, we didn't do it, did we?
Don't think anyone really liked being sat in everybody else's lap, though, to be fair.
No, that is true.
Everybody else in the world has provided extra loading gauge for the double-decker trains. We tried to do it in the same loading gauge.
Yeah.
We're waiting for 740, which is about 27 seconds. HUD is showing up that we are good. We'll close the doors now, so that we can have an on-time departure. Probably not an on-time arrival at the next station, but... we need some written info on what works with what. It's starting to get complicated, confusing. I have actually got something I wrote up internally because it was getting confusing for everybody internally as well. So I need to find a way of actually sharing that information in a sensible way, so that you know what benefits from what.
You gain a lot of points.
Oh yeah, I get points just for being here. Because sometimes just arriving, me turning up is unusual, and unlikely, and unexpected. Right, we've gone into restricted monitoring. We've got a 40 limit coming up, or at least a reduced speed. What is it? 60. So I'm going to release from monitoring because we don't have any kind of impulses coming up, and we can carry on accelerating up to 60. Answer the CFAR. How do you get timetable service to give you the time to set up a train like this? So this is something that in the early days of doing this, we weren't so familiar with how the best way to set it up. These days, everything we do, we make sure there's a load unload instruction before the departure instruction, so that while passengers are getting on and off, you can set the train up however you want to. So that's something that's going forwards, and has been in there for quite a while now. It's been an approach that we've been using, but yeah, that's what this is. That's what's different specifically about here, is we get you to do the passenger, open the doors, and then you get a good 30 seconds to a minute to set your train up, which is more than enough. All right. If you're wondering why it's not making any sound, it's because it's a cab car. There's no sound to really make at this end of the train. All of the sounds are at that end of the train.
There we go.
At the other end.
Other end.
I want to apologise in advance, as always, to anyone that speaks German or has ears, because I'm going to be butchering the German language as normal when I pronounce these names, and for everyone's mothers that I insult, I do apologise.
Alex in game is asking how our day was. It was very good, thank you. Was yours good, Matt?
It was excellent, thank you. Doing lots of stuff.
Yeah. Both keeping busy.
Yeah, it's every day is a day of meetings.
Yep.
But they're all good meetings. They're all productive. Lots of things are decided, or questions are. One of the key things of the meeting is not just to have an answer, but to understand what you don't have an answer to. Because Donald Rumsfeld said it best with his known unknowns and his unknown unknowns and all the rest of it. As confusing as it might be in English terms, it does actually explain it quite nicely.
Someone was asking how you pronounce this station.
You're asking me? I hope you're not asking me. Seriously.
I don't know.
That would be counterproductive. I can tell you a few ways of not pronouncing it if you want. Dosto 767 and 766. I think there are differences mostly around the door heights and things like that. It's sort of relatively minor differences, but it's around door heights, interior layouts, that kind of thing.
That's right, they can jump out of that one.
Well, it's Main, isn't it, Ratifus? Isn't it Main Spessart Bahn? I don't know. Like I said. Say it backwards. It backwards.
They've already had enough. Look at them. Look, they nearly all got off. Look,
I know.
Look.
It's just fantastic bit of driving there. It's just.
They're still coming. Look at that lot.
I should probably close the doors as well, just for the gills. 767 has first class. 766 doesn't. Yep. All right. Interlocking has been released, and we're off.
Yep.
All these people are just trying to walk onto the platform going, what am I missing? What didn't I hear about?
Oh, they're all going under the bridge, look.
Can I try and stop with the HUD off? We can turn the HUD off. Where's it? Control. Turn that off. Turn. No. Not that one. Don't want that one. Oh, I can't remember. I need to know where I'm stopping though. I don't know the route well enough to know what, or the service well enough to know which stations I'm stopping at. I know the route fairly well at this point.
Someone was asking how many servers are there on Clone Archon now?
110, I think it was when we looked earlier on. Draw 5. Ah, there you go. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm just going to guess what the speed limit is, to be fair. I'm breaking the speed limit. Apparently I can guess wrong. No, I need to know what the speed limit is. I'm not paying enough attention to drive without the aids. This is the problem. The aids mean you can pay less attention. And no one pays less attention when they're driving on the train sim than me. Blindfolded? Pff, I've done blindfolded, Lawson. I did this route blindfolded and got a half decent score. Yeah, it was one of the streams we did.
Wow.
Sam decided he would blindfold me, and yeah, that was fun. The second time we did it on the Long Island, however, I spadded, so.
Ah.
6.5 kilometres to Lorbanov. You'd argue Sam pays less attention when hosting a stream. Well, he's also having lots of fun and he's got lots of people to talk to. I'm just ignoring you lot. Tried GWR blindfolded, got all the way to Reading and stopped 200 metres short. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Wow.
Is this Matt and son? No, my son's upstairs.
No, I'm Jamie for anyone who doesn't know. No.
Will I ever do the Bakerloo line? We've done the Bakerloo line, Elijah. If you ever look on the the Dovetail Games Train Simulator YouTube channel, you will find videos from previous streams, and you can watch them there. We'll probably do the Bakerloo line again at some point. I don't know when though. Am I in a 390? No, my cab background is a TGV duplex.
Lovely.
Right, that's the 150. We get a very short stint of 150. So what in the real what happens in the full route is this is actually the high speed line, and this then joins up somewhere down here, and you end up going off to Würzburg, and the ICE trains. The ICE trains are actually the ones that come along here, and this is why we've got 150 kilometres an hour now, because this is technically a stretch of higher speed, one of the highest speed bits on this particular line.
Yeah.
Why wasn't the German Shunter released today on MSB? So that is a Rivet Games, and they are busy with the Isle of Wight at the moment, so they haven't finished the work to upgrade the BR-204 onto Tracing Mod 2. I believe it's on their list to do, so it's coming, but that's why it's not in today's list. I believe from what Sam was saying that he was dropped to 130. He was them people. The Rivet were going to look at that once they'd finished the Isle of Wight. Let's drop to 130.
Someone's asking, what are your PC specs?
At least they did. I'd much prefer it when people say, "What are your specs?" Because then you can have fun with that answer.
I know, because we both got them.
I know, we've both got some of these. But they didn't, so I can't say that. In fact, yeah, okay. So my spec, it is an i7 6790 K, I think, or something like that. And it is a GeForce GTX 980 Ti graphics card. with SSD and 16 gigabytes of memory.
Now everybody's asking what your spectacles are.
These.
Yeah. Mine are Quicksilver, I think.
I've no idea. I don't actually care that much about glasses as long as I can see through them. Generally, what I do is I'm a real cheapskate when it comes to glasses. I go to Specsavers, I have a look, get my eyes tested, and they say go and pick some glasses. So I go to the cheapest ones I can find.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can't see them, so it doesn't bother me.
As long as I can see after you've had them fitted, it's fine.
Will Rapid Transit be fixed on Xbox? What is it that you want fixed? What is the nature of the issue?
Yeah.
What is the nature of the train sim emergency?
And someone was asking earlier if I'll be doing some driving and solo streams. I think we hope to in the near future, but I think it's waiting for different equipment for me, so hopefully I can stream better.
Yeah, I think Jamie's got the kit for doing streaming at this point. So it's stuck with me all the time.
Yeah.
Wait, we weren't supposed to agree.
Oh no, it's alright.
Oh dear.
It's quite an interesting cab because you're quite high up, aren't you? In this?
Oh yeah. You're in the sort of the midway point.
Yeah. Someone's asking, do I consider myself a good driver from 0 to 10? Well, I think...
From 0 to 10 kilometres an hour, yes, he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it depends on the locomotive and the unit and stuff like that. So, and also, I'm sort of still getting to grips with the LZB, PZB, things like that. So, I'm sure it's something that I will improve upon. But yeah, I would probably say I'm about halfway. I'm about 5. I would say it depends on the locomotive.
I mean, for me, it definitely depends on the locomotive and how long it is since I've driven that locomotive before.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if it's the FEF, I'm probably a -10. I don't get me wrong, I really like the FEF, but I can never remember how to drive it, and it always takes me a half an hour of just getting back into it before I'm comfortable with it again. And it's worth it. It really is. If you haven't played the FEF and you like Steam, you will love it. Can I rate Sam's driving? Jamie, you've got to rate Sam's driving from 1 to 10 on the spot now.
Oh. Well, I would put myself about a 6. So I think 5 to a 6. So I think Sam is about a 5 to a 4. Sorry, Sam. Or maybe I don't know. But then Sam's really good at just gripping and ripping it. So, but then he has done some amazing things where he's just perfected it. So I don't know. It's a difficult one to tell.
What do you think,
Sam?
folks? What do you think,
think?
folks? Where is Sam on a 1 to 10 scale?
Yeah.
Where am I? Let's put everybody up here. This is not just a. I'd say what about Jamie, but clearly that's going to be total guesswork.
Yeah.
I love the route. One of the things I really like about this route is, and you're going to love this, the trees.
Ah, there we go.
It's just a nice, lush, green route.
Oh, blimey, shots are being fired. 1 Sam, Matt 10. Sam -50. Oh. Sam 0.5, Matt 9, because you're a professional.
You've not been watching very long then, have you? Actually, Sam does a damn good job. What was it on Monday? He recorded the one behind him and Adam, and he
Yeah.
nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
That's the thing though, because I think he was concentrating. It's like a lot of things, with Train Sim World. If you're concentrating, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, someone's put a good one there. I think Sam's driving is about 2, but Sam as an entertainer is 8 out of 10.
12 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, anyway, moving on. What are we doing? What questions are we getting? You're giving up giving rapid transit tonight. Got to go to work soon. Okay, well, whatever problem you're having, if the problem is that you own a rapid transit, but you are not being gifted it, and it's saying you have to buy it on the console platforms, shouldn't be anyone with a PC that's a problem as far as I'm aware, then raise a support ticket. It probably means you've got rapid transit via a disc or something. Like for example the collector's edition or the original Train Sim World. But remember, Rapid Transit was for PlayStation owners. I don't think any PlayStation owner would ever have bought it. But as far as I'm aware, PlayStation owners are all fixed now. I've seen people saying they've got it working. Oh no, we're stopping here. That's right. I stopped. I realised well in time. It'll be fine.
JP's put, Matt gets a 10 out of 10 for putting fish wagons into Kingsway Harbour and failing to stop at Nebworth. Normally 8 out of 10 at other times.
You did raise a ticket, but they didn't get back to you. When did you raise a ticket? I have been a bit busy today, so it may be tomorrow that they can get back through some of the things, tickets from today. As you can imagine, they've had probably quite a few people contacting them today.
That's a cruel one, right at the end of the platform. Look at that.
Imagine if that was a red.
Oh. Come in too fast. Oh, right.
Routes are out on PS4 except Rapid Transit, which wants to charge money. Okay, I was aware that I thought I'd seen that the PS4 had been fixed. So if you're still having a problem on PS4, then make sure you get in touch. You should not have to buy it again. Do not buy it again. A few people have been doing that. Do not do that. You don't need to do that. Get in touch with support and let them know what's wrong so that they can fix it for you. Must admit, I turned the power on in the train, but it doesn't actually for some reason have turned the coaches on. So I'm gonna be Mr. Guard for a bit, and we're gonna press the buttons because I like pressing the buttons. Pressing buttons is basically why I'm here.
There we go.
I locked myself out. Come back. I am allowed here. That was a train. What was it? It was another one of them. That's the same as us. Boring. Moving on. Thought it might have been a freight or something so exciting. Right. Sam and Matt do a live stream together again. Love hearing argue about things that are ridiculous. I'm sure we will do a live stream again at some point, but I think the plan was that we were just going to all mix and match all over the place.
Yeah.
Does this have the revised freight loadings? I believe so, Ed.
Somewhere MLHST has put, have you been on a sleeper in the UK? So a sleeper train. I haven't. Or
No,
well,
neither.
the only thing I have done is for anyone who's done the Seven Valley Steam Gala and has slept on the trains during the night when we do all night running. I don't know. Some people have probably done that.
No, I haven't. I know of people that have done that, and we used to be the UK Train Sim used to do a stand at the Seven Valley Railway Steam Galas at Bewdley in the cafe,
Mm.
I remember some of the people that helped us out would go and do that. Would be how they would sleep overnight.
Yeah, they never
Um,
book into an hotel.
nah, we booked in a hotel, just to be clear. Oh no, I've gone too fast. Veestal is coming up next in 5 kilometres. So basically, for those that are not familiar with the Main Spessart ramp, is the it's named after the River Main, which is to our left at the moment.
All right.
Somewhere, or it was to our left. I think it may have been that we've passed it now, actually. So part of the route you're following the River Main, and then Spessart is the forest. So it's the river and the forest, hence Main Spessart. And the route fundamentally is a triangle. It's a sort of a traditional hill, and we're on the gentle slope on this side. So we're on a relatively gentle slope. The peak, the summit of the route. It's not a particularly high summit, but the summit of the route is at the place Hagenbrücken. He says, trying to remember. Which doesn't actually exist anymore. So this route's actually gone through some real big changes, and I'll cover those in a minute. But we go up to Hagenbrücken, and then from Hagenbrücken we then go down a feature called the Spessart ramp, which is actually really interesting. It's a really steep grade that in reality they have to use banking trains to get up, the heavy freight trains up, and that's captured in the timetable mode as well. That runs for something like a 2% gradient for about 7 kilometres. And then it's a little journey then from from Laufach into Schaffenburg, which is generally a relatively fast. So it also speeds back up to about 150 kilometres an hour again for that little bit. Coming eastbound, obviously you're going to be hitting that hill hard. And you're going to be rising up to Eigenbrücken, so you want to be. That's where you're going to have to be really careful. And even though the stock doesn't have its wheel slip protection and so forth yet, because this says just the migrated stock, it's not fully upgraded yet. That's what Preserve Collection are going to be doing. So you are going to have to be ginger with your throttle usage. Although you should be all right. You shouldn't have a problem, but you are going to find that that particularly in the wet and dry you should be fine, but in the wet you're probably going to find it to be a slippy experience.
There we go. So we have the route.
So yes, what's happened in reality is that having giant hills like that, what generally happens with railways is things that train enthusiasts find interesting get in the way of efficient operations of railways, and they optimise them out. So what's happened in this instance is the Spessart ramp is fascinating from a train enthusiast perspective, because you can put yourself, stand on Laufach station and watch the banking manoeuvres get set up and all this stuff, and wait for the banking train to come back down the hill, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But the problem is that all those banking manoeuvres are extra engines, extra crew, extra maintenance, and just tough, hard work getting trains up the hill. So what they did is they got rid of the hill, and the trains now, they basically built another high-speed line through a tunnel and dug their way through the tunnel. So the trains actually, I think it's essentially at Hagenbrücken, they then go. There is a Hagenbrücken station, but it's like a two-platform affair on the to the left of the old platform, and it goes immediately at the end of the platform into a tunnel. And then you do a much, much gentler gradient all the way down. Now that's what's reality. That's not what's here. We got the fun gradient, it sort of it kind of makes the journey less interesting, but much, much more efficient, because trains can go up there without banking, and they can go up there faster.
A good example of that would be the Gotthard Tunnel and the Gotthard Pass.
Indeed, yes.
Someone was asking what is my role, because they haven't been about. So I am the new community manager for Train Simulator. So for anyone who hasn't met me before,
You'll see Jamie on the forums. Be nice.
Yeah. And you'll see me in future streams.
What does the grey colour signal where the signal is? I've turned off the ability to see the next aspect. So there's a setting which is show next signal aspect, and I've turned it off. When it's turned on, you will see the colour, red, yellow, green. When it's turned off, you'll just see grey. Which means I know when the next signal is, but I do not know what the next signal is. So to consider it a way of just turning up the difficulty just a little bit.
Red Leader says Matt wants to increase his score from 9 to 10, so he turned the hard mode on.
No, that's hard mode. And I ain't driving like that. I don't know the route well enough for that. I am driving it in normal, casual user mode because actually that's what I find more comfortable. Right, our next stop is Heigenbrücken, so this is the last leg up the ramp now. Up the hill, not the ramp. The ramp is the other side.
Do they still use their banking for some trains, or do they?
No, the old line's gone. They've ripped the old line up, the new line is designed that they don't need the banking anymore. I think that was pretty much the entire goal, was to get rid of the need for banking. Right, 5 kilometres till Heigenbrücken. We'll drive a pink train next. No. We're driving a 185.2 next. One of them!
One of them. There we go.
It might even be that one.
Pick a car.
Might be that one. Tuned in as you mentioned the grey HUD signal. So yeah, if I press escape, go settings, go into, and you've got game. Down here you've got next signal aspect. And then if you turn that on, you'll get the colours. If you turn it off, you'll just get grey, and you can hide the next signal aspect. So by default, you get the next signal aspect, but you can turn that off. When using this formation on Kolnak and Azari 1 should LZB be accessible? No, the rolling stock that's come over from Preserved Collection in this first round of Preserved Collection stuff is just moving it across as it is, so they won't have gained new features. So if it didn't have LZB before, and it didn't, then it won't have LZB now. Whether it gets it in the future or not is a separate question, and you'll find out about that as and when any decisions that are made. That sort of thing will appear on the roadmap. No. If it doesn't, the only train that's got LZB at this point is the IC3M.
Someone's put about the Gotthard. In case of the Gotthard, the old line is still in use with local trains and the Gotthard Panorama Express, while the high-speed and freight services use the base tunnel. Definitely something he wants to do. Jonathan wants to do at some point. I think it's definitely one of the routes I want to do as well. Oh, did you forget?
I did acknowledge it. I don't know what's going on there. I definitely acknowledged it. I wonder if it's got the slow acknowledge. Oh, it does. It's got the slow acknowledge. I just didn't hold it down long enough.
Ah.
Oh, we're going. We're going.
We're off.
Of course, now we're in restricted monitoring, so you don't go faster than 40 kilometers an hour. JP's lowering my score. Dang it!
So I said, "Ah, yes, blame the train, not that."
It's totally the train. It's always the train.
Always the train. Someone's asking, can you set the destinations in this for Clone Aachen
No,
as
they
well?
don't have any. Again, the way the destinations worked in these older trains, they didn't have the sort of dynamic text ones that the new ones have got, where it's really easy for us to add destinations. It still needs adding. These ones actually used a huge, great image, which is a lot more difficult for us to add the destinations to. What's this restricted monitoring mode, electricity plays? So, because the train stopped, it switches itself into this restricted mode, which means I'm further limited in my speed to 40 kilometers an hour. You can see where this is flashing, and the HUD is blinking 85, 75. That tells me that I'm in restricted mode. There we go, 1,000 hertz. That one acknowledged. We're good.
One of them. Can you turn on the signal aspects on, please? We had a question about colour blindness.
Next signal aspect. On, go, go, go.
Ta-da! There it is.
Right, so, oh no, we are still blinking away. So basically it looks like our starter out of Heigenbrücken is what's red. Which is fine, that'll get us into Heigenbrücken. And that normally is to allow smooth reflowing of services. The reason that we get held to a red here is so that the train doesn't get given permission all the way through down the ramp immediately, because you haven't arrived yet. And there's other services, like the freight banking services, where they need to run back as well. So by holding these signals to a red light, we leave the entire west of the west of Heigenbrücken open for for whatever might be happening at that point. So it makes everything flow a bit nicer.
Question is, when did the tunnel change? When was it changed from? When did the high-speed line come in?
2 or 3 years ago, at best, if that.
Oh, wasn't that long ago?
No, it's very recent. It's very recent. It was in construction, I think, when we built this route. Google Earth was a complete mess of trying to work out what was what, because this is gone. There's photographs you can find online of Heigenbrücken with none of the tracks still in it. All the tracks have gone.
Wow.
Right, we got our 500 hertz.
Yeah, people are saying so glad we've made this route because to preserve it, so everybody sees what is left of, or what's still, what was there.
Yeah, I mean that's always been one of the things. In fact, it looks like there is a freight train due past us, so we're gonna get looped. We're actually gonna get past here. Yes, that's one of the things about any train sim route, actually, not just this one, but because they snapshot a moment in time, they almost immediately become a historical record of sorts. Because you can, just about any route has changed. If you look back on it 6 months, a year later, something will have changed on it, probably. Is he going to get a spad? No! No!
No.
Not right now, anyway. Oh, train in front. He's got clear aspect now, so we have to speed up and gun it down the hill. He's opened the window. Rude. Anyone had unexpected spads in TSW? If they are spads caused by not you, then make sure you report as much detail as possible. What you were doing, when would the spad occur, where were you, onto the forums so that we can look into that. There was one on East Coastway. I don't know if that one has been the fix has been sent out for that yet now, but we have got a fix for that. If not, I think it has. Got a red light, so I'm not locking the doors. There's no point.
I wouldn't do in real life, would they?
No, you don't lock the doors on a red. Especially when you know there's a train coming on the left-hand side in front of you.
Yeah.
Can I speak a little bit of German? Nicht sprechen Deutsch. How about that? No, you do talk to Sam if you want to speak German. Sam speaks German. I don't. Have I been to New York before? I've been near New York. We flew into Newark on one of my trips because my wife's American, and we flew into Newark Airport. So I've sort of seen New York from Newark, but that's about as close as I've been to New York. I've been to Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee. Is it Knoxville? I think it's Knoxville. Yeah, Knoxville, Tennessee. Tampa in Florida. Oh, sorry, Port Charlotte and Tampa in Florida.
Wow.
And Massachusetts. We went to Westboro, I think it was, in Massachusetts. Oh, BR155. Rattly freight boy. Where'd you get those pink headphones, HSD Plays? From Amazon. Where can you get this route? You can get this on your favourite games store, Alex, whether that's PlayStation, Microsoft or Steam. It's the Main Spessart Bahn. Yeah, these are definitely all trains. They're not all, so basically, notice the doors are open and they're all sitting on the platform going, well, you go first. You get on. You go first. You get on first. No, that's right. I'll wait for the next one.
We should just get like all the teams to voice people, different people. Standing there. Oh no, you go first. No, it's fine. I'll stay here. It's fine.
Yeah, simulation's come on a long way, Nick K, hasn't it? Totally agree. Just in general, you look at what there was even 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's absolutely stunning. Why not AFB for cab cars? Because they don't have it. Notice they've got the blanking plate there, but they don't have AFB. Where is he? Oh, there he is. You know what? We'll be getting the go soon, so...
Yeah.
There we go. Right, so we're in 500 Hertz, which means we're limited to 25 kilometers an hour. The 500 Hertz will go away shortly, but I've got to re-acknowledge because we're coming up against got a double yellow, so that's an expect stop. That didn't acknowledge that. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. I'll probably get stopped in a minute then.
Going to be pretty late by the looks of it as well. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I don't mind.
Is it Philomena? What do you think about Swiss trains? Well, I love Swiss railways. I've been lucky enough to go over twice. I love vintage Swiss electrics and steam. I think probably my favourite Swiss area or the Swiss network is the RHB, which I'm hoping to in the near future build a model railway of. But yeah, I do. What about you, Matt?
What was the question, sorry?
What do you think about Swiss trains?
I like all trains. I've never met a train I didn't like. I just genuinely don't have favourites when it comes to trains. People keep asking me what's their favourite train, and they all have things that are great about them. even the underdogs, the little trains, the less used ones, there's something really interesting about them. And as much as I would say, I like railways from Switzerland or something, but I also like really interesting stuff they do in all over the world. There's just so I really find it difficult to pick a favourite. I'm just hooked, basically. I'm beyond help.
Yeah, someone was saying they love the crocodile from the Swiss Railways. Yes, definitely.
The croc is lovely.
Gorgeous. I've actually the RHB croc. I've actually driven one. There's a simulator at Burgoon Railway Museum, and they've got a croc undercover, and they've built a simulator into the croc so you can use all the original controls. It's really good fun. Really, really good fun.
So this is really interesting because we're coming down the Spessart ramp now, and if you want to, if doing it the pro way, you want to use your e-brake, your electric brake, to trim your speed without using your air brake, because you'll get more even braking. It's more easy to more flowing to control it. But what you want to be careful of is, we passed a train passed us earlier on, so we're following that train, and we can accelerate quite a bit faster than he can. And probably he's running on mode G, which means he's limited to 90 kilometers an hour, and we're running a lot faster than that. What happens is that there's a big long gap between signals, and if you're not careful, you get a little bit of a nasty surprise coming down this hill, which is much worse of a surprise if you're driving a big heavy freight train at the time, and suddenly double yellow lights come up in front of you, and you don't have a hope because you're going too fast. Not that I've ever done that. What about trams? I actually quite like. I went to Crouch Tramway Museum once or twice, and that's really, really good, really interesting. There's a lovely range of trams there. But I've also ridden on the Lewis in Dublin. In fact, I was in Dublin the day they launched the Lewis, which was good and caused utter chaos because, of course, the drivers weren't used to it, and so they were stopping on on the yellow boxes and blocking the trams, and it was just brilliant. The trams are really good. They're really interesting. I've ridden on some of the U-Bahn stuff in Germany as well, and again, it's really efficient. It gets you from point A to point B really nicely.
I've done the Seaton tramway down in Dorset, I think it is. Dorset, Devon, sorry. And I've done trams at Zurich and at Bern. So they're pretty good trams. It's nice because at Zurich you can sit on the back of the trams and see everything behind you going. It's really good fun.
Do you think trams will work in TSW? I don't see why not. Right, I think that's our home for Laufach.
There we go. Oliver has asked, have you been to Miniature Wonderland in Hamburg?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't either. It is on the bucket list, but no, I haven't.
Another train sitting waiting here. Tons of traffic on this. The Main Spessart Bahn is a very busy line. It's essentially a very busy freight line, as well as having the passenger traffic on it. It is actually a fairly busy trunk freight route, so you find there's an awful lot on there in reality. I tried to capture that as by packing it with as many freight services as possible. Oh, I've got to change the door side. That's just making me work too hard.
Someone's asking for the horn. There we are.
I think we've got 2 more stops to go. Hosbach and Schaffenberg.
Yeah.
And then we're on a freight train. All the way. One go. Now if I primed it right, I think it will be that car transporter that we passed earlier on.
Awesome.
How do I feel about the Long Island Railroad? I love the Long Island Railroad, James. It's one of my favourite American routes, one of the passenger routes, because it captures a lot of what is great about the European passenger railroads, and puts it in a very different setting. And obviously, you're driving in and out of New York Penn Station, it's just I just find it really interesting. And of course, the fact that you've got multiple routes with it down to Atlantic Terminal or the one that's a shopping centre here that I can't remember the name of for some reason. But yeah, I like the Long Island Railroad. It's very good.
Rich is asking, how many miles is this route?
I can't remember. This is the banking train. So this train is the banking train, and it sits in that siding, waits for a heavy train to come up by it. It then rolls out to a stop board, and then comes up and couples up behind it, and that's it. In fact, in the service mode on this, you can be the banking train, and if you want to, you can wait for a train to come past, back out, buck up, and then push it up the hill. When you get to the top, uncouple and run back down the hill, and then wait for the next one, and just do that 2 or 3 times. Which is quite fun. It's sort of a different exercise to do. The way that the banked freights are timed, they're sort of like in batches of 2 or 3, so that you can do 2 or 3 without having to wait an hour, 2 hours for the next one to come through.
Something you don't see very often now. I mean, it doesn't happen in this country, really, does it now? So.
No, I mean, we've got the trains are sufficiently powerful now, it's less of a problem. So you can go free roam aboard the banking train. Yeah, the banking train has got active services, so you can go ahead and sit in it, and it will tell you when the next one starts.
AMX has asked me what my favourite Swiss route is. It would probably be one of the RHB routes. I say that I'm not entirely sure which one. I would probably say it's the Alba line, probably. So from Tussis up to Samaritz. It's probably my favourite part. Oh, Andy said there's still a few banking moves up the Licky Incline.
Oh, wow.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Oh, they do for steam, though, don't they, with the Licky Incline? When they have a steam tour, they definitely do banking runs then.
And in fact, when I did a steam tour down to Kingswear, one of the things that the group I was with, one of the guys there, said was that quite often they'll bank and support the train going up with a diesel at the back just to make sure it gets up the bank up to Churston. And in our case it wasn't. We had Tangmere, and its meaty off loco was able to pull its way on it. Although the coal went bad, and they had to stop at the top, refresh the coal and blow the boiler back up again, because which put us about 15 minutes late, which, if you know how much that costs railway companies, you'll know is a bad thing, TM.
Well, I'm surprised with Tangmere they would do that, because obviously bullies aren't the best for hill climbing. So
She did good.
yeah.
So, I mean, we were really lucky enough, actually. We were in because they changed ends, the support coaches at the other end. So we were basically right behind the tender.
Wow, awesome.
Again, coming up that bank to Churston, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Open that window.
Open the window. Have you had any locomotives like deafen you before? Like of how loud they've been going up banks and things like that.
When I was younger, everything seemed a lot louder. Just a HST pulling away was terrifying. I remember when we went to Seven. I took my son to the Thomas weekend at Seven Valley when he was a lot younger. He was barely more than a baby at the time, and Duck blew a whistle.
Yeah.
And he was not happy about that. Yeah, the rear car. That was it. Crucible. It was always the rear power car. I loved it. It was one of those things that I'm terrified by this, but I can't wait. Absolutely loved the HST.
So there's been some steam locomotives that have like been behind, and they just, they really are really noisy when you get them at certain railways. I think a good example was Manor at West Somerset. I think it was on something like Load 8, and it was going tender first, and it just, the noise that was coming out of it.
Yeah.
Someone said about the Hall class. The halls at West Somerset. They do bark a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a run going from Minehead up to Bishop, it's uphill, and there's some absolutely class bits there for getting some good barking out of the trains. And even on the TSW version, where obviously there are no steam trains, I know. One of the services, the Class 33 is now. It was one of the recent updates a while back. Was made able to drive the full length passenger trains, that you are full power up the gradient on the 33, which is
nice.
You've got a sort of experience you don't necessarily expect on something like the West Somerset Railway, because it's only 25 miles an hour, but you are for a good few minutes at full power getting up that hill.
Yeah.
Adria's blown by a Class 91.
By a Class 90? Really? Blimey. That's incredible.
You know what amazed me when I first heard one was a Eurostar. I mean, those things are louder than a diesel.
Yeah.
Absolutely roaring, the noise as this thing was going past. It was just amazing.
And also the unique noise they make when they go past you. Like at high speed, they make like that high-pitched noise,
Yeah.
Each coach that goes past,
Is it possible to convert the Class 66 so it becomes a DB-BR266? Well, anything is possible. You can convert this loco to a BR266. It's just more work. Right, we've got 1,000. We've got to get down to 85. But it's not quite as straightforward. I know what you're saying. It's not quite as straightforward as all that, because a BR266 has a very different cab. It has it's a completely rebuilt cab, essentially. You've got different systems on board because it's got PZB, CFA. There's some changes to the shape of it. It's got air conditioning units. There's some of the shots of the BR266 with his aircon unit stuck out the roof. It looks absolutely bizarre. Absolutely bonkers.
A little interesting fact I know is that there was at one stage I think it was in the 1980s, there was a contest of which mainline steam locomotive was the loudest, and I can remember apparently all the locomotive owners had a go at testing their locomotives out to see how loud they could get. And I think it was Judah Gloucester won in the end.
Huh.
And then I think George Stephenson came just below it, I think.
I know I think it was when we did the A4 pack for Train Simulator many moons ago, and when our audio team went out to I think it might have been Sir Nigel Gresley to do the recording for that one,
Yeah.
and they actually got us to do a decibel test for them because they were coming up ready to and they needed to know to make sure their whistle was loud enough. So while we were doing the recordings, they got us to do the decibel check for them to make sure it was coming through loud and clear, which obviously it was. It was definitely. Was it Bitternet? I can't remember. It was an A4. One of them A4 things.
Yeah.
When will the BR14? I presumably mean 3 be in the livery editor. I don't know. There's nothing been announced in terms of when Preserve Collection or if Preserve Collection will make it into the livery editor. I know Adam was throwing wild things around on the stream on Tuesday, so suffice to say, when it's on the roadmap, it's coming. Until it's on the roadmap, it's not being worked on.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like this room.
Does look good.
When I was at Gamescom, must have been 2 years ago now, maybe 1 year ago, can't remember. Sometime pre-COVID, when we were at Gamescom and we were doing, it was basically to talk about the relaunch of TSW 2020. There was one of the guys from the local TV or one of the TV stations had come along and we did an interview, and it transpired this is where he lives. He said, "You made a route in my hometown. Why?"
Jasper has asked us both if we've ever driven a real life train. I have driven about 15, I think it's like 15 to 20 for real steam and diesel locomotives.
I'm going to go with no.
So
Sadly, no one has been crazy enough to let me at the hands of controls of a train. Got it. I think it all went wrong when I started streaming and people saw what my driving was like, to be honest. Right, yes, A6106 was the one I was going to do next. Oh, look at that. Amazing.
Lovely.
And people say they don't like motion blur. Okay, in that instance, the wheels do look kind of chunky, but... Right, drive this non-stop freight eastbound from Aschaffenburg to Gmunden. Hey, go me. Go me for making that one. Hey.
From Aschaffenburg to Aschaffenburg to... Oh, well, yeah.
Top marks map.
Yeah.
Competence doesn't come easy. PZB, we got Sifa. Now what always catches me out here is as soon as I start moving, I'm really happy that we've started moving. And I forget there's a green-yellow light there. And so the PZB comes on and stops the train again. Which rather dampens my enthusiasm for having just got moving. Let's see what we're driving. Yes, it's the car train! There you go, we're moving. Brakes have come off.
Now you get to pick your car now.
You can have any colour as long as it's white.
Yeah.
I asked for them to make the cars all pink, and they told actually they were quite rude in their response, to be honest.
Now multicoloured cars would be fun.
Yeah, that we originally wanted to do multicoloured cars, but you see that causes a problem. All these cars have got the same texture on them,
right?
Because it makes it nice and memory efficient.
Yeah.
Originally they had all different textures, and you would not believe how much memory was used.
someone's asking what car they are, actually.
I couldn't possibly comment because they're unlicensed, therefore they aren't real cars. Actual answer is I don't know. I've no idea if they were actually modelled after a particular kind of car or not. Right, we're coming out of Aschaffenburg, we're going through the yard now. Power a little bit. So this is Aschaffenburg. So the 204 runs in this area down here when that comes out. And then you've got this is the route over to, this is the line down to the sidings out of Law, little industrial siding down there, which again is part of the 204's joy. Hello. What is my favourite German route for TSW2? Oh, now you've put me on the spot. I don't know. Before some of the newer ones, it was this. And I still like the massive amount of variety in the challenge and the Spessart ramp on this one. However, I like the fact that I find Hauptstrecke Rheinrohr to be quite exhilarating because you can have some really good sections where you're passing other trains and they're passing you, and because it's a 4-line racetrack essentially. So it can be really interesting. And again, there's decent variety on that as well. But then you've got the Köln-Aachen line, which obviously then gives you the ICE with LZB and an interesting variation and challenge as well. I think that one will live up to its full potential as you get the extra add-ons. Now, some of that's the MSB, which you've already now got. And then Rheinrohr-Osten will then complete that picture and give you the S-Bahn as well. And that'll make it more interesting because you're more likely to be chasing an S-Bahn train or something on the main line. There's nothing quite like blasting an ICE past an S-Bahn and showing it who's boss. Do I also play Bus Simulator? Not a lot, but I have done in the past. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, I haven't passed yet.
Another suspect reduction, and this reduction is because these two lines merge onto the right-hand two lines in a minute. So basically holding our speed down, ready for the junction just up ahead. And then once we're on the main line, then we'll get the clearance to go. Again, there's a few people who are talking about rapid transit. If you're having problems with rapid transit because you think you should have it and it's charging you for it, then please make sure you raise a support ticket and ask for advice on what to do there. Don't go and buy it again because you should be getting it. If you have it in TSW1, I believe you should be getting it in TSW2. And if you aren't, it just means something's not quite working. You'll quietly move your notifications until you finish. Well, go away then. Thank you. Next thing it'll be saying, please wait, rebooting your machine. Is this free if you bought it? Yes, if you owned a Main Spessart, any of the preserved collection, if you own it in TSW1 or TSW 2020, then once it's preserved in Train Sim Mod 2, you should expect to get it. If you don't, you need to tell us. Yes, if you owned it on disc is probably the more likely reason for why you might be having problems with it. Again, get in touch with support and they'll help you.
Oh, another freight. Oh, we got on this one.
Steel wagons, shims.
Yeah. What class of locomotive are we running again? It is a DBBR
185.2.
185.2.
Got to turn that annoying light off. Right, speed limit has now increased. We are in PCB mode M, which is, you'll notice it says 70 down here instead of 85. That tells us we're in the middle. M for middle, PCB mode O for over, and U for under, essentially. So we're in the middle mode, which means that our speed limit is 125. We'll go 120 kilometers an hour. And we are non-stop. So basically, I want to try and get through Laufach at a decent speed so that we hit the ramp hard. One of the scenarios that comes with this, we did some changes to. So it's the fuel loading, the fuel bank. There's a scenario where you have to bring up the fuel exchange. I think the scenario is called, where you bring the tankers up the hill with a banking train. Suffice to say, it couldn't make it up the hill once a diesel was put on. So that train is now double-headed and banked. Now it goes up the hill.
Blimey.
You're still on a knife edge, though. You know, it's still enough that if you try and gun it, you'll lose it, and you'll have to slow the power back down again. It's quite fun, actually.
Well, I've actually found out how many of these DBBR 1852s there are. There is 199 owned by Rayon or DB Schenker.
Good. Are there any plans to get the level crossings working? Well, one of the engineering team has been having a look at that just in his own time, because he's as interested in that as well. So, well, as and when that will make it into a build, I have no idea. But suffice to say, it is something that is of interest. Right, we're taking the through line past Hosbach. Which means we can go nice and fast. We'll be slowed down to 60 if we had to go into the other line. No one wants to be slowed down. That's not what we're here for. Will the GWR trains be free? If you own GWR, you'll get them. If you don't own GWR, you won't. Yeah, PZB is on. We're in PZB mode M. CIFA is on. But all the speed restrictions have been over 100 kilometres an hour, so we're not seeing anything on PZB yet.
Yeah.
So far, we're clear of green.
It's gone up again. Look at that.
That's Hosbach. So next station is Laufach, and then just after Laufach station is where the grade starts. So I'm actually going to take it easy rather than rushing, because if there is something in front of us, then this will give it just a bit more time to get out of our way.
Yeah.
Green with green,
Just
green, so good. We've seen unloading of coal wagons in Canada. The wagon gets tipped on the axles. So interesting, Fredo Gamer. If you go on the Sandpatch grade, the Bethgon 2 wagons that are in Sandpatch grade, you'll notice they don't have an unloader underneath them. In order to give them extra capacity, they took the unloaders off, and those ones are physically lifted and tipped upside down as well.
Wow.
When they're unloaded, which is not simulated.
Where's the banker loco?
Banking's not out doing something, so we're not going to get caught by him, which is good. The starter's green. There's only a couple of signals up the ramp, ending in the 70 as we go into the tunnel. And the ramp itself finishes literally at the mouth of the tunnel.
Ah. So I suppose because of the ripping up most of the line, a lot of those little stations aren't served now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what about, because there isn't anything between here and Heikenbrücken. So, and it is a roundabout here somewhere that the line ends up joining up again, but it's just taken a different route so that it can take a more relaxed route to get up to the top. What do the different colours mean on the map? I'll just show you. If we go over here, you will see yellow ones, which are sidings, blue ones, which are light blue ones, sorry, which are platforms. I don't know whether we can see the dark blue ones around here anywhere. No, I don't know if there's any dark blue ones. No, the dark blue ones are what we call destinations. They're just slightly more generic. This is a place you can stop a train type things.
Someone's asked, do you think we'll get some railway maintenance trains like threshers to do aesthetic work? Also, would be fun to drive.
I'd love to do that, but only when we can make it sensible. You know, if I'm going to have an MPV in the game, I want to do MPV things. I want buttons to press that you can clean the track or whatever that is. So that's,
or tamper the track or whatever.
Or whatever functionality you're trying to express. So yeah, there's some really cool gameplay that can be had there. So I want to, if we go down that route, certainly I would want to. Have that available. Doing all right now. I'm going to close this window again, just to get a little bit of the volume down.
Someone has asked, have either of us ever considered becoming a train driver?
Not really.
No, I mean, I think I probably did when I was younger, but I think sort of sometimes your course changes, and you think you're going to do, when you're young, you think you might be an astronaut or, but yeah, I'm sure I probably did think I wanted to be a train driver at some point, but I think by the age of about 10, 11, I'd achieved that. So yeah.
No, I've always been heavily into computers. Why 104 you can't get the brakes to release? Indirect web, can you make sure you drop a post on the forums about that for some help? I'm not aware of any issues with it.
And Giles asked me, do I like the Bakerloo line? Yes, I do. Yeah. I'm not sure what my favourite underground route is in real life, so if I've chosen an underground line, I don't know what would be my favourite. I've done steam on the Met, so I'd probably be the Met because of the steam locomotives that were on it. But yeah, I do like the Bakerloo.
The Lower Commandant Shuttle Vixtron, yeah, that's a nice fun little service, isn't it? The slightly longer one is the Aschaffenburg-Heikenbrücken backwards and forwards. some point we'll pass a Dosto somewhere east of here. That was the train we just drove.
There we go.
Got green with green, green, so we're clear all the way through Heikenbrücken as well.
Perfect.
Now we just have to not let it run away as we go down the other side.
Yep. Can't see into your train yet. Look at that.
Oh, the wagons.
Yep.
Alright, let's get some speed up. Be all right.
Yep.
Platforms look so narrow. They are really narrow in real life, Fixitron. And in fact, in real life, if I just leave my train to do its own thing, because nothing can go wrong if I do that. In real life, at the end of the platforms, you will notice in the game there are some sort of walkways, some stairwells. Those don't exist in reality. In reality, do you know what you used to do? Walk across tracks.
Yep.
But I can't do that, not without being in a completely bad place. So we had to put stairs in.
Oh, they do that in Switzerland a lot as well. You'll be in a country station. There's no platforms whatsoever. It's just literally like you've got the station building, and then you've got the trackway, and you're walking over the tracks to get to the train. And a lot of the little country stations are crest stops, so they'll have the ticket or the timetable. You push a button which controls the signal. And if you look on the RHB routes, I think on the Erosa line, it's actually got it. And you'll see there's a flashing light as you're coming into the country stations, and that's how they know that you've got this crest stop.
Yeah.
Quite a tilt on there, look at that.
Yeah, there's a lot of super elevation on the line.
Nice seeing all the shadows. Look at that.
Yes. I wonder where we see ourselves. Somewhere down here.
Yep.
That's probably us.
There we are. Christmas said, I hope those cars are struck down well.
Of course they are. They knew I was driving.
Ratifus says, I know the Irish, but yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I have been over twice, and someone who I know who I've actually been around the workshops of Lanquart Depot, so I know a lot of history about the RHB and its locomotives. I must admit, it's probably the cleanest depot I think I've ever been in. Like you could probably eat a meal off the floor. You know, it was that clean. I've never seen a railway depot sort of workshop as clean as that before.
So in the immersion controls, Deakin, you can't access with the this is the number 8 camera. But if you plug a keyboard in, then you can just use the number 8 key to get that view. But or if you switch to classic controls, then you can bring up the camera menu.
Patrick is asking what is the RHB. The RHB is the Rhaetian Railway in Switzerland, in Canton Graubünden. Mainly known for the Glacier Express and the Bernina Express.
Got 100 limit coming up.
There we are.
Oh, freight madness. In authorised mode, can someone use LZB on TVM tracks? No, safety systems won't magically try and pretend to be other safety systems, Speedbird. The train will work. You could use an LZB train on a TVM track, but you won't have the benefit of TVM signalling in the cab, which might cause you problems.
DNA X Swift Tag has asked, what do I think of the Nottingham tram? I've never actually seen the Nottingham tram. JP has asked me, as the TS community manager, do you have anything fun planned for us to do on a TS as a community? I'm not sure. I'm certainly thinking of different ways at the moment. Something interesting I've done at the moment, which if you haven't done already, we have set up a forum thread for Workshop Wednesdays. So if anybody has any suggestions on what they would like us to do for Workshop Wednesday, includes your own scenarios and routes, pop them in there and we'll have a look and see what's most popular.
And not only the ones that you've made yourself, but also ones you found yourself that you were playing
Exactly.
and you thought, actually, that was really good.
Yeah.
What do you think should be showcased on the Workshop Wednesday streams?
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm sure we'll have some fun things in the community. We'll that's our newest thing at the moment. I'm sure we'll keep you all updated. Look at that lighting. That's what I meant about the steel. See what I mean with it?
Oh, the disc brake area.
Yeah, disc brake area. That's right. Actually, see the suspension moving about. I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, well,
See it jumping up and down.
We model the suspension. You can see the suspension actually. If you don't see it here, you can see it all shaking about. Including the cables moving around in the middle.
It's brilliant.
How many train control systems can you program on one train? As many as it needs.
Because all the buttons on that one with the screens works, doesn't it? On this, or most of the buttons show up.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff you can do with the buttons. So we can make it to where they do whatever they need to for a particular system. Yeah, particularly the international trains have got multiple different systems in them.
Because obviously in European, depending on freight, you have different voltages for different parts of countries. So some DB locos can run miles and miles and miles. They will change. Sometimes they won't even change locos. For example, like they might go the whole way through Germany, then through Switzerland to get to Italy, and that way they have to have like 3 or 4 different voltage systems on the loco. So you have to have that in the control. They will have that in the controls.
Easing the speed down a little bit. This upcoming 100 kilometres an hour. When is Isle of Wight out? There's no release date yet for it, Lewis Tom. Only got 12 kilometres to go, much faster this way around.
Yeah. No station stops.
No, they get in the way. Those darned passengers.
I mean, if you had the choice between a passenger driver or a freight driver, what would you be?
That's really tough. Because they're kind of like... Yeah. I think freight you might see more different roads. And I guess day to day is probably a bit different as well. So I don't know actually. Isn't 100 kilometres the maximum speed for all freight trains? No, 120, 125, 120. So PCB O, which is not for freight, is 160. PCB M, which is for fast freight, is 120, and PCB U, which is for the majority of freight, is 100. And then if you've got any freight wagons in brake mode G, then it's PCB. Then you need to be further restricted to 90 kilometres an hour.
DNA X Swift Tag has asked Jamie about what are your thoughts on the Class 156? So do you mean, obviously I imagine you're meaning the British 156. I've had many trips on them because I used to commute on them, and some of them can be a bit of rattleboxes.
I may have jammed on the brakes there because we were coming up to a red.
Ah.
And I've got to wait for them to release.
Yeah, and I've also had a Class 156 do an emergency stop on the East Coast Main Line because we had to swap from a 158 to a 156, and there's because of the emergency. Oh, you do, yeah, and the emergency brake pull things have gone wrong in the 156. So we've got trains doing 125 mile an hour rocking the 156 when they go past. That was fun. And as you know, the 156s don't have those the East Midlands ones. I don't think at that time probably had phone chargers. My phone was dying. I was like, oh, now I'm going to be late. I think we sat there for about 20 minutes waiting for it to all set off. We went off again, and then it happened again. So we had 2 emergency stops.
Nice.
We got into Peterborough, and we had to transfer onto a 158, which was lovely because it had just been upgraded. So it was all bright lights.
That's a step up from a 156.
Oh,
I mean, let's be fair. A cardboard box is a step up from a 156.
That's true. Yeah, I used to commute on them all the time, and they used to be rattle boxes. There was a lot of them where we were. They had a lot of them had leaks in the corridors, so that was rather fun trying to get between the corridor.
Right, we just arrived at Lohr. Given we just saw this previous signal go from yellow to green, I'm not going to go too fast through here. Not until I've confirmed I'm overtaking whatever's in front of me.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we've got yellows, I think, in front of us again. No.
No, green by the looks of it.
Ah, we're overtaking, I think.
There's a green and a white.
That's a reduced distance to the next signal, but it's a clear aspect.
Patrick can say, imagine sitting on a 153, 156 all the way from Norwich to Liverpool Lime Street. Yeah, a 156 is bad enough from, I think, from Norwich to sort of. I'm trying to think where somewhere it's like Leicester, Nottingham way. That's bad enough, or even Sheffield. That's bad enough. I couldn't imagine you going to Lime Street. That would be a very, very uncomfortable ride all that way.
We're in north now, aren't we? Northeast.
Northeast.
Yeah,
There we are.
we'll turn left to head up that way.
Not far now, 8.4, 8.3 kilometres.
Any plans to put Train Simulator on Xbox and PlayStation? No. Train Simulator can't go onto consoles. That's why one of the reasons Train Sim World was created. Was because you couldn't. The way that Train Simulator's been written, it just won't work. You would have to start it again, which is what Train Sim World is.
Yeah.
There's the main.
Look at that. Well, JP just said to Patrick, imagine doing it from Birmingham New Street to Aberystwyth. That journey takes over 5 hours and they stop at all stations on a 156 or 153. Oh, that must be painful. That's a long trip.
No, I didn't acknowledge that. I was sitting there focusing on slowing down and I forgot to actually acknowledge the
Oops.
Oh, that's annoying.
Oh, no.
The HUD is going crazy with the judgment.
His flashing lights are you going? Dear,
You
dear.
failed.
You failed miserably.
I was focusing on slowing down and I forgot that I had to actually tell the train, yes, I'm aware.
Here comes another train to mock you, look, Luke.
Whatever. Brake pipe's coming back up. What is that voice saying? Zwangsbremsung, which basically means emergency brake. Brake cylinders coming off. Can you play the IC on this track? You should be able to, Leon, using Scenario Planner.
Arthur says, have we ever travelled on a Trans-Siberian railway? I haven't. Have you?
No.
No?
Must admit, it's not on my bucket list.
Oh, right.
Not on my bucket list.
I think we'd probably both be here for a long time if we listed everything off our bucket lists.
No, my bucket list is really short. All the
Is it?
trains.
Ah.
It's the same as the list of trains I want to make in the game. All the trains, all the routes. Come on, brakes, do your thing. Get lost. Will the Class 43 come on to Train Sim Mod 2? Yeah, part of once Great Western Express comes in, Elijah Asante. Oh, the brakes.
Come on, brakes.
What would be your favourite train country that's not yet represented in the game? Don't know.
Don't know. Maybe India, because I don't think we've done an Indian route, have we? For both sims.
No, there is a community route released elsewhere, which is the Darjeeling and Himalayan. Someone's done a model of that, which is really nice. But no, there's nothing on Steam from India. I've started to looking at sort of South Korean railways and seeing what they're doing, because they run some really interesting high-speed stuff, sort of akin to TGVs as well.
Ah, right.
And then their regional stuff looks more like American freight diesels for their passengers.
Wow, that's very different.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe I need to.
Ah, there you go. It just seems to be moving there. Look. Oh.
We're coming down in. Should just get on with it.
There it goes.
There we go. Just needed to overcharge the brakes. If you find that you stopped and you can't get going, you release the brakes and your brake pipe is back up to 5.0. The brake cylinders are 0.0, which means that the brake pipe is back up and the brake cylinders are off, and you can't get going. And after a couple of minutes you're still not going, then a 15-second burst on this brake overcharge will push your brake pipe up to 5.6, which means that if any of the wagons, what happens is that the way that the brakes work is it's by lowering the brake pressure that you can release things or apply them. But if they've got themselves up beyond 5.0 for some reason, then you can't actually get above it to release them. And by overcharging, you push the brake pipe up, and then that'll let it all come back down again. What you do need to be aware of, though, is while that brake, for about 2 or 3 minutes after you've overcharged to 5.6, don't apply your brakes, because you'll get into all the wagon. Everything is
Don't apply brakes and then apply. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh.
I went over 40 kilometres an hour, didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Oh, it's going to be the most painful 5.6 kilometres ever recorded.
They'll be talking about it on this on Discord way after this.
So what's my driving score now? Are we down to 1 yet? Oh, I'm too busy talking, not busy paying any attention, which is difficult when you've got PZB running. PZB commands your attention. Right, so you can see here on the HUD, the brake pipe is back up to 5. Brake cylinder is is coming off. So if I give it a little bit of power, just so that it's got something, that brake cylinder will come off. But that's probably held because of the overcharge that was there. So I now need to re-overcharge. There you go. See, the brakes have just come off. So you need to re-overcharge it again because we hadn't recovered from the overcharge before the brakes got applied. This is all a demo, of course, because I wanted to show you the brakes.
Show you how. Yeah.
Don't you give me your doubt. If everything goes perfectly, driving score 5. Hey, that's not bad, Elijah. That's more than I was expecting. Burger Palms 1 out of 100. That's harsh.
Yeah.
There we go. We're rolling. Right, 40 kilometres an hour, everybody. Remember, 40 kilometres an hour.
The lone camera is. This is a good practice run for the brakes tutorial. Yeah.
Nice demo. It is. It's a good demo, isn't it, David Minnie? I think I'm expressing what happens if you're not paying attention. Just how attentive PZB is at smacking you upside the head. I'm feeling bruised right now. I'm feeling bruised. Big red marks here where I've been slapped many times tonight.
There were 2 last night and 3 tonight.
Oh, he's counting.
Okay.
Does this not have AFB? It does have AFB, yes it does. It's that lever there. Right, so we've not got restricted monitoring anymore. Brake pipe still hasn't recovered, so we're still waiting for that to come down 5.0. Basically, until the brake pipe has recovered, you just want to drive cautiously and use your use the e-brake, which is this one, because the electric brake won't impact the brake pipe at all. So you can use the e-brake to manage your speed. Once the brake pipe is finished recovering, then you can apply your brakes as normal again. Going underneath the line that heads to Würzburg.
So Benji's asked, what train are we driving today?
This is BR 185.2 freight train. Oh, another train.
Hey,
It's my opposite number.
Yep.
It's the driver in that train and I have a disagreement. I bring the trains to come under and he brings them back again. It's just futile.
And also he has the interesting way of turning the set round as well.
Yeah. What is the blue 70 on? That's PZB, Trevor. That's the safety system, which is the same as this 70 here, which tells me that I'm in freight train mode essentially. And it just means that it's what keeps stopping the train basically, because I'm not driving it properly. You have to turn it on to get PZB. It's this switch here, and this one for CIFA, which is the one that just keeps shouting at me every now and again. CIFA, CIFA, CIFA. Now that one.
That one.
That's the vigilance system.
That's to keep you awake.
Arthur, what is PZB? PZB is the safety system. It basically, you notice these little magnets down on the track down here. They send a signal, one of 3 different signals to the train, and then the train reacts accordingly. Whether I need to slow down based on the mode that I'm in, and it will, it basically is there to stop the train if you're not driving according to those rules. It's relatively simplistic in that it doesn't actually know. PZB, the train has no idea what the speed limit is at all, so it follows a fairly simplistic set of rules, which are then employed smartly down the track to guide you, or to guide the train.
It's interesting as well with this signalling that you get the 3, 2, 1 before you get the signal as well.
Yeah, Yeah, you get the countdown boards before signals.
And you've got the kilometre posts as well, haven't you?
Hectometer posts, yeah, they come up every sixth of a kilometre. Those 4008 there on the right there, which sort of gives you a really accurate position, because you can see they're coming up really frequently. That'll be 41, I guess. 4006 going the other way.
Yeah. It's something I was got quite used to, because I used to watch a program called, or a channel called Bahn TV in Germany. There was we used to, my grandparents used to get it on satellite. So I think Bahn TV lasted about 3 or 4 years, but they used to have a load of drivers I've used of all over Germany.
Right, this is the advanced warning we need to acknowledge. We're already well below the PCB trigger speed, so we just need to acknowledge that. That's announcing us to predict a 40 km/h, but I can see from the HUD it's actually a 60, so I'm just going to leave it at 50. And we'll see what the signal is when we get there. Does PCB engage automatically? No, you turn it on. There's a switch on the back wall here to turn PCB and CFA on. If you don't do that, then it does nothing. If you do that, then the teeth are out. Right, this is our slow speed signal with an expect stop. The expect stop relates to Commandant Yard itself. So we're 40 kilometres in, so that one we acknowledge.
The Crucible says Railway Emotions on YouTube, mainly Swiss cab rides. Yes, I've been watching some of them, because they are really good. If you ever need anything to something just to relax to, and you're a rail enthusiast, just stick a cab ride on, like Railway Emotions, things like that. It's so relaxing. DNA X Swift Tag has asked, what British route would you like to see in TSW and what trains? Well, I'd like to see steam, but that's because I'm a steam enthusiast. But I think British route, I'm not entirely sure. I'd like to see another preserved railway, I think. Something like maybe like Severn Valley, Great Central, maybe even Romney High, something like that, you know.
Interesting. Right, this one needs acknowledging. It's got the little bar on the bottom. That's it. That's our final reminder that we've got a red light at the other end of the siding. My favourite London Underground route. I like the Jubilee line. I used to ride the Jubilee line a lot. I like the Central line, but it's too loud. Way too loud. I bought noise cancelling headphones when I was commuting on the Central line, and even they were beaten out by the Central line trains.
Pretty noisy.
Whereas the Jubilee line's got a nice mix of overground, underground running. It's got modern, recently added tracks on the JLE, and then you've got the original Jubilee line west of Charing Cross as well. So it's you know, it's a nice, interesting line. It's got nice modern stock on it.
Which sounds like an F1 car.
Yeah. Waterloo and City. Yeah, I can already see the reaction to that announce. 500 hertz. Limit's now 25 kilometers an hour. And you get excited, Sifa.
Look at that. And we're there.
Driven like an absolute professional.
Look at that.
These bits here, I don't know what happened here. This wasn't me. This was someone else was driving. Excellent. Well, there you go, folks. Main Spessart Bahn is now available as part of the Preserve Collection. Main Spessart Bahn Rapid Transit BR182 that we released today. If you own them in TS World, then you should get you should get it in Train Sim World 2. If you do not, then get in touch via a support ticket or on the forums and ask, because you should. Do not go and buy it again. Right, folks, that's it for today. When's the next stream, Jamie?
Let me have a look. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. Where is the next one? So we're in October now.
We are in October.
So I'm not sure when the next one is. I'll have to keep an eye.
Okay,
Sure.
keep an eye out on the social media,
Yeah.
and we'll let you know when the next stream is going to be. And
Yeah.
Otherwise than that, have yourself a great probably weekend now, probably.
Yeah, it will be, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see you on the next stream. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, see you soon. Bye.